keeping score.
Hey there, gamer guys and gals. I'm really excited to bring you this one today. This is Blazing Trail. It was developed by Game Energy and was published by East Asia Soft. You currently grab this on all platforms for $12.99. This game I fell in love with really quick. I was a huge Jackal fan and a huge NES fan. I loved old school co-op games like Contra, Jackal, even Hikari Warriors, which I know some of you won't agree with. But it's just always really enjoyed that playing with friends or family. On the NES, it was always a good time because I was a young kid, and this really took me back to that. I think they did a really good job at capturing that. This was a really, really good game. But I'm going to have a few cons, but that has nothing to do with the quality of this game. I really, really like this game. I think if these few changes, I would have really loved this game though. I think the vehicles and the map are kind of too big, so you're always bumping each other and having a hard time getting around. I think they may have done that, for difficulty maybe. I don't think that they did that, unknowingly. I think they wanted to add difficulty to it, and I also think it's a little bit too difficult. So I don't think this can be really shared with all ages. Like you want to play co-op games with friends and family, and some people aren't really, that skilled. So I see them really struggling on this game and giving up. I know a lot of people that also do reviews, and I know a lot of people that never made it past the third level. There's a part where the ground breaks, and I know a lot of people just finally gave up. So you're going to see a lot of reviews for this where you never see past the third stage. There is a cheat code though that makes you invincible, but that kind of takes away from the fun if you just can't be hit. Like if they just made it a little bit simpler, maybe more men or something, something it made it where you could actually finish it with anyone. I finished it on my own, but like this is a game I think would have been shared and loved with a lot of people. I think this could have been on the level of Contra as far as co-op. I think this is definitely the best co-op game of the year, and I think that it could have been a huge hit if it was just a little bit simpler. But like I said, that's the only thing I have negative to say about this. This game has epic bosses, as you see here. That drone I was fighting, this train. There's just really cool bosses that you have to figure out, how to beat them. And there is checkpoints, if you die, you do pick up there. But when you get to a checkpoint, your teammate doesn't come back. Your teammate should come back. It's just overly difficult, in my opinion. I think it would have been so much more fun, if it was just a little bit simpler. If your teammate come back, or you could find some health. Just a game that everybody could enjoy. I think the final boss was a little bit weak as well. I would like to see a little more from that, because I think all the rest of the bosses are epic. I think some of the best bosses I've seen, in a co-op game like this. So the final boss, was just a little bit of a disappointment. But that's all I've got to say negative about this game. I love the music. The music's just amazing. I love the difficulty aspect of it, but I feel as if it takes it away where it's for everyone. It makes it where it's just for people that like challenging games. And I think this could have been bigger than that. I think it could have been a huge co-op release that people that love them old school games could play together. But if you haven't picked up a game in a while, let's say you're an older guy and you haven't played in a while, and your buddy's like, "Hey man, remember we used to play Contra? We used to play Jackal. Check this out." You pick this up. You're not going to get very far. You're going to struggle. He's going to be dying, and you're going to be playing the game by yourself. So hopefully they do some fixes for this, because this is a game I would love to see do well. I would love to have a physical copy of this. In my opinion, this, like I said, it's the best co-op game that I've played this year, and I think this game should be a bigger release than it is. I haven't heard much said about it, I think this game deserves better. This is an excellent game. I think it's just a really cool concept. It brings new things to the table. Like there isn't one firing style. You have a machine gun, you have a rocket launcher, and you have a laser. And the laser has batteries. It's the most powerful. But sometimes you'll have, where the battery runs out. I think maybe they should use like twin sticks sort of on this, because some of these guns are really hard to control, especially like on the train boss fight. You got to turn your vehicle, sideways to shoot, and you're bumping in each other. That's another one of the parts I thought was like really annoying, because the maps so tight put together and your trucks are so big. So it was always like an issue with banging together, and that was another one of the issues. But man, this is a really good game. Don't miss out on this one. If you love these old school NES games, if you was a fan of Contra, you was a fan of Jackal, this is one you definitely want in the collection. You won't regret it at all. I'm gonna give this one a really good score. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. But to be honest, I wanted to give this a 10 out of 10. But those few things I talked about kind of lowered the score a little bit for me. If they made those changes, this game's a 10 out of 10 to me. This is one that you don't want to miss. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for support as always. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that helps us keep getting great games like this. Thank you to East Asia Soft as well as Game Energy for sharing their art with us. If you're struggling with this on the Xbox, hold down the X button and tap Y 10 times. It'll make you invincible. I had to use that for some of the later parts, to get my review done. But like I said, it's definitely worth picking up. Oh, please check out our Twitter. It's Carlos Shan, or Gamer Guys and Gals. Just search it on Twitter or X. I know I keep calling it Twitter. We got a new X though, and we'd love to have you guys follow us. But until next time, see you in those leaderboards.